everybody, welcome to Speak to Tisha. Today, 45-year veteran, Radio Hall of Fame, Mr. Ed Tyll is joining us on the show, and I am so honored because I love this man, Ed Tyll. He's great, and Ed is going to join us in an unedited conversation that we don't know where it's going to go, but it's going to be great. So Ed, welcome to the show. Tell us what's going on with you.
Tisha, a real pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's nice to be on with everybody. Very excited. Within the next 24 hours, we are launching our national syndication here in metropolitan Orlando. This is one of my favorite cities of all time. I've always enjoyed being on the air here, and Friday we made the big announcement on the Shannon Burke Show, so the Ed Tyll Show is back in Orlando.
I love
That's why I'm excited. By the way, you look great in our shirt.
I'm telling you, I have Ed Tyll on my chest. You know, I think this is phenomenal.
Thank
I
you.
got Ed coming over here. So
Can't think of a better place for the show.
Exactly.
Can anyone? I don't think no one's going to argue with me, right?
Nobody will ever.
Doesn't the show look great? Take a long look at where the show has come.
Yes.
Look at think about where the show has been over the 45 years. Now it's arrived
on my chest.
on a beautiful location. I think the location says it all.
So Ed, you have been on many different radio stations.
I have.
You've been on 104, you've been in Delaware, you've been in Chicago, and you have really made a great name for yourself. And what I love about Ed, he's very charismatic, okay? So, that being said, with radio and the way it's gone, where do you think terrestrial radio is going nowadays?
Oh, you know what? It's an interesting question. I see a lot of opportunity. I read an article, personally I do see opportunities, but about a week or two ago, a small radio owner in Connecticut, which is right outside of New York City, the #1 media market in the world, he gave a talk about how operating a small local radio station, in his words, is like printing money.
Oh, wow.
They have advertisers requesting to be on. They don't have enough room.
Are you serious? Wow, that's interesting.
Now, this is a station in Lower Connecticut. Anybody could find it. It had the same call letters for 65, 70 years. So when I see that, then I see a brand new station, Florida Man Radio in Orlando, AM and FM simulcast, right? 105.5, 660 on the AM dial. I think that is an extraordinary opportunity, again, to learn how to print money locally. I do a national show, so what I want local stations to use me to make good money, because we care about clients. And I think even though there's a lot of advertising today, a lot of choices, there's still only a few people who are going to make sure that your advertising works. And if you do that, they're very loyal.
And advertising is key, but also marketing to a certain audience is also key. So the audience for Florida Man Radio, which I have to say, Florida Man, that is ingenious. I love it. I love it. So who is the market, who are you really going for as far as market audience?
I think the station represents ordinary, untitled people. The people in America that don't have any title at all to get anything. They're not the general manager of anything. They're not the boss of anything. They're not highfalutin in any way. But what are they? A Florida Man, and I see it as mankind. Everybody sees it a different way. But you're on time for work. You get a good lunch and a couple of good laughs with your coworkers.
A few beers, right?
Beers are after work, but you bang out. You gotta bang out a hard day's work where you feel you did something. That's what makes you entitled to the beer, the relaxation, the wife, girlfriend. We're going out dancing. We're gonna, binge watch TV. It's all. John Lennon said. Lennon has a line. It's in an early Beatles song, and he says it's a guy in the song speaking to a girl who has it made. And he says, if only, I think the song is called Girl, if only she could know that a man must work a hard day to earn his leisure.
Yes.
So this is who Florida man is. You work, you earn your leisure, then your leisure is more amazing because it's really learned. You know, your mind, your body have really been worked out that day. There is something to rejoice about or to laugh out loud. I like stuff to me, you laugh out loud. You hear something, oh my God, what the other day the guy says to me, you know, you have Bahia grass in your backyard. I go, what? He goes, oh yeah, he goes, it looks at it like disparagingly. Well, you have Bahia grass. I go, Arthur, what does that mean? And what are you trying to tell me? You don't like my grain? Oh, it's very special. You can't buy seeds, gotta put in plugs. St. Augustine's gonna, I go, yeah, take it easy, okay? It's a lawn.
Yeah.
You're the lawn guy. Don't give me all this mumbo. So right away I'm on Google. You know, what is Bahia grass? How do you pronounce Bahia grass? You know, it's not that hard.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the world I'm in. My listeners don't want to hear about Bahia grass.
Yeah.
They don't want to continually genuflect to people who are supposed to be bigger or higher or more important than they are. The way they look at it is the way I look at it. You said 45 years. Okay, so for 45 years, I've done other things besides talk on the radio. I paid my taxes.
Right.
I paid my Social Security. I donated to charitable causes. We had no homeless beds in 1985, and I volunteered for that. Just today, I put this on Facebook on the way over, right? I mean, I drove through the Puerto Rican Day Parade for maybe the 75th time in my life. I can't tell you how many Puerto Rican Day parades I've been to. I'm from the Bronx,
Yeah,
you know, and I will tell you what I loved about the Puerto Rican Day Parade today and 1969, 50 years ago. I loved the Puerto Rican women. I love the food. I love the sound. I love the colors. I love the vibe.
Yeah.
These are my people. Not by, I have listeners of every ethnic background.
Of course.
From every country and language in the world we have listeners, but what they all have in common is they are ordinary, awesome. This ordinary awesome. You go, well, that's a contradiction. Ordinary means plain, and you're saying, no, it's not a contradiction. They're awesomely ordinary. What do they think about? Having, dinner with their wife. What is their fantasy? I wish she could get a petite filet mignon. I know we can't afford. That's it. They're not fantasizing about a throuple. See, I don't want to know about a throuple. I don't have to know that. I knew how to learn polyamory. I had to learn all this crap. And you know, none of it since I've been around, and it's a while, none of it has done anything. Nothing's happening except real life. That's what I do know is happening.
I love it.
I do know is happening, and I know what that means, because when I drove here, my friends over at the Oviedo Mall, and I see the people at the toll booth. I have Easy Pass, but not everybody does. You know, the normal life existence for me has been my body of work for 45 years. That's all I'm interested in. I have a grandfather tattooed right here. I don't want to frighten your viewers, but if I lowered my shirt, you would see Grandpa, and then you would see Mom. And the two of them, all they did was talk with the neighbors for good. Here's a recipe. Here's something for your kids' cold. Here's something for your grass. Here's something to grow the tomatoes. Here's how to fix your car. It was a chatty, all helpful,
Of course.
smart,
Yep.
respectful. And by the way, again, it was the United Nations in my neighborhood. Every country, they said, oh, but what about the new countries? We had the new countries. We already had the Dominican Republic. We had Russians. We had Ukraine. This is new with the, Trump talked to a Ukrainian. I talked to a Ukrainian 65 years ago. You know what I said? Move your car.
That's awesome. So now, with you being in radio and phenomenal talent, how did you get started in the business? What attracted you to get started in this business that is can be very highly volatile, can be ever-changing, can be, you know, 1 minute you're here, the next minute you're there. So how did you become attracted to that? What got you started in it?
The first review of Ed Tyll in 1957 as a 1-year-old,
Okay.
he doesn't stop talking. He's one. They said to my mom, Tina, does he do this all the time? My mom said, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I was the only child, so that was lucky for my mom too. The three of me would have put her out for sure, because it was all. I had a grandfather who was always around. Mm-hmm. That's the tattoo. I got the tattoo, grandmama. Yeah. So dad's at work. My dad had 3 jobs. Mm-hmm. So I saw my dad all the time, but he was changing outfits.
Yeah.
He was the shipping, receiving, then he was the bank security guard, then he was the warehouse security. Mm-hmm. So he was. But my mom, my grandpa, my Uncle Pete. My Aunt Addie, my uncle. I was raised by the family.
Yeah.
I had a family that raised me. I had 3 people tell me when to cross the street, not one. Aunt Addie, get on the sidewalk, Edward.
Yeah.
Right. So as soon as I heard that this talking thing is good, I went to school. All of a sudden, I'm doing great in school. I'm getting A's, teachers like me. They would ask a question, I would just spit up the answer. Capital of Uganda, and I would bang, Bolivia, Lake Titicaca, whatever it was. I couldn't get enough of, you read it, then you come in the next day, they ask you what you read. I was like, this is the easiest thing in the world.
Right.
So the teachers started with, oh, he should become a lawyer. Oh, he should be a politician. Everybody had an opinion.
These ideas for you, of course.
Yeah, because everything was, he's chatty. Mm-hmm. He talks all the time. So and good grades. Yeah. So right away, we got to figure a way to angle. How's this going to work?
Yeah.
So they think law. So, of course, I'm a kid. If it pleases these clowns and I can get more chocolate cake, what do you think I tell everybody?
I'll be a lawyer.
Of course, because I get ice cream whenever I want it. I get to stay up late.
Yeah.
I watch more Man from U.N.C.L.E. because of my A's as a kid. If I had an A like all over the place on a report card, my grandfather would say, let him stay up and watch the Man from U.N.C.L.E. And you know what? Right. Like my grandfather knew what shows I was sneaking in. Like I would try to watch Man from U.N.C.L.E. 5 minutes after the show would start, go to bed.
Yeah.
It was very strict in my house. 10 o'clock meant 10 o'clock, not 10 after 10.
So you tell us about law. So tell me, you did go to law school.
Loved law school.
Tell me all about it.
For about 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah, I loved it for about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I was an academic in high school, college. So law school stayed with me. Every advisor, just like my parents, it wasn't one person that ever spoke to me that didn't bring up the word lawyer. It was insane because a talk show was not a big deal. There were like 3 or 4 talk show guys in the 70s.
Back in the day.
And Sally Jesse Raphael, a couple ladies, but it was just not a big industry. There weren't a room full of us at all.
Yeah.
So I'm in first year law, and I can tell that I'm going to class with people who might have committed the Watergate burglary. I feel like I'm in a room with a lot of these guys are not playing straight, these guys and girls, because there were a lot of girls. It was not all boys, but it was all the A students from all the different colleges.
Yeah.
And they were all convinced going to the University of Miami Law School was going to make them rich. Oh. And that's what they needed to lock in. Either daddy was rich, I got to prove it to him, or we're all poor, every last nickel got me here, I have to do well. So the obsession with school was quite unpleasant. I was an enthusiastic academic in college.
Yeah.
I had my run of the campus. I ran the radio station. I ran for president of the student body. I lost in a fixed election. A broken voting machine cost me the election by 24 votes.
Oh, wow. For
9,000 votes, I lost by 24 in a broken voting machine. So they did. They said, do you want another election? And I was magnanimous, your word. Yes. I said, I'm not going to put the kids through that. We all know how this went. It was a fraternity. They beat me by 24 votes on a broken machine. I think that means I won. So instead of The Office, I had a very popular radio show. And I enjoyed college that way, but I was an academic. So I get to law school, nobody wanted to be an academic. They gave us an assignment in the first week that was supposed to last all semester. And the second day, you go to the library, you mentioned, to check out the case law. And the cases had been torn out of the textbooks. Wow. So I said, wow, this is like Watergate. Like that, they're gonna make sure that you have to, so we had to go to another law library for 3 weeks until all those books. So I knew this was not my crowd.
Yeah.
Now I found found 3 people actually in law school. None of us wanted to be there. So we knew it was just a matter of time. Now we're all on, when you're on scholarship, you gotta watch it because they're paying your apartment.
Everything, absolutely.
And if you don't keep your grades up, you could wind up with a bill where they'll bill you for the semester they covered you and go, you owe us 20 grand. Right. So I had to be careful, but we did start going to Coconut Grove more than we did class. And I learned a lot.
You learned more in Coconut Grove than you did in class. There you go.
Yeah, if you Google, again, the kids will look this up, but for me firsthand, the Cocaine Cowboys had a big shootout at the Dadeland Mall.
I think I remember that.
All over the world. There were bodies. It was it was like the movie Scarface.
Right.
Everybody saw machine guns. Machine guns are blasted in broad daylight on Kendall Drive. So we had just been there 6 months.
Wow.
So I knew that the world was not what they said in law school, but right outside the Cocaine Cowboys, that was real life.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? The radio is going to be much better than the courtroom. So that was, and then I was out of here. And then I did. I went to the Dean house. Hello, Mr. Dean, how are you? I said, no. I said, yeah, I'm leaving. No, you're not leaving. Oh, Mr. Dean, And she was like this big, Dean Hauser, a little tiny lady. And I said, you're a person. I told her, I said, you're very cute. I said, for a dean of a law school. She was like this. I said, you're adorable. I said, if I was going to graduate from a law school, I would want it to be from yours. Yeah. Because our dean was a Russian woman. Oh. We had Soya Menshikov.
That's definitely Russian.
Was the dean, and she was a hero. First president of a law school dean. Hello, a woman. Yeah. First female. Now, I don't know if the ovaries were really in there, because the beard line and the muscles, and she looked like she could have beat up Putin. She looked like she would scare Putin.
Well, you know what they say about those Russian women.
That's what I'm saying. Right. That's what I'm saying. I might have disappeared. I stayed down. But I loved her. She was the dean. Remember Sandra Day O'Connor getting on that? Yeah, she almost took over. They tried to get, before Reagan put Sandra Day on the court, they tried to get Sandra Day O'Connor to be our dean, because our dean was not doing well. But I loved law school, a short period, and got the hell out of there,
But it got you to where you are today, I mean, really think about those experiences. Yeah. And even, you talked about family, and I want to bring that up. Now, we're both Italian,
right?
Okay, and growing up in Italian families can be rather interesting. So, what are your fondest memories of growing up in the,
that's easy. When I was in the high chair. All right, how far is that? Far back enough? Yeah. Well, we know I'm talking. I was talking while they were diapering me. It was insane. Like, I would talk, and they're like, and I'd be like, what's the problem? And my bowels too loose. I was very verbal. Yeah. But no, here's what used to go on. You asked me about my family, okay? Mm-hmm. We had a tiny kitchen. My kitchen was 1/4 of this room that we're in. It's tiny, okay? But my grandfather ate lunch with us every day, hot lunch at noon.
Oh, yeah.
My mom, he lived on the 4th floor. We were in a tenement building. Yeah. He lived on the 4th floor. We lived on the 2nd. Your grandfather's coming down for lunch. So my mom would strap me in to the high chair and put me with like some pastina. That was my, every day of my life, pastina. Say, give me the pastina. And then my grandfather is going to be sitting 3 feet away, but his is a big ritual. You got to have the Parmesan. You got to grind it. You got to give him a hard block of smelly cheese in a grinder. You cannot give him ground up cheese. He doesn't know if you ground it up right.
Yeah.
With my grandfather, you ground that cheese up wrong, you ruined his lunch.
That's right. And they had to have the pasta, and they had to have
he had to have a hot entree. Hot appetizer. You had to have soup. I had pastina. He had bow tie pasta soup. With what do you call it? Spinach floating, seaweed. Yeah, all kinds of Italian stuff. My mom would go to Cosmos and get whatever my grandfather ate. So you're asking me, what was it like for me, family? So I was strapped into a high chair, which I liked. I remember that my elbows and I were good on this thing because my grandfather was big with the elbows. You're not supposed to have your elbows on the table. So my grandfather got his elbows always hooked in right under being on where the elbow was not. So they would say, Pete, your elbow. He goes, my elbow is off the table. So I would try to angle I got my little 1-year-old elbows dug in, and then I would watch. My mom said that we didn't have cameras. Nobody had a movie camera. I know rich people had. We didn't have anything. We had memories. We tell you this.
Right.
My mom said that I would watch my grandfather. If he took I would hold my spoon going up, and then I wanted to just mimic. In other words, to me, I wanted to eat like he did.
Like he, yeah.
I don't want to just eat. Eat like Grandpa. Because Grandpa had to be and then Grandpa had to have a cloth napkin. Grandpa did not. Grandpa came to the table spick and span. 100 degrees in New York City, heat, top button was always buttoned. Suspenders were always in place. The shirt, everything fit.
Cufflinks?
No cufflinks, because he had his flannel shirt.
Oh, okay.
But it was a buttoned-up flannel shirt. But he also, the glasses were. He cleaned his. He had a eyeglass cleaning cloth. Sat right there in the middle of his big dining room. What do you call that? The high dresser. I don't know if people know what that word means. The high dresser. When I was a kid, what I meant I couldn't see it. It was high. Yeah. But what was up there was one eyeglass cloth from 1920. That's it. One piece of cloth and the same pair of glasses. You know what he replaced? One nose pad. One nose pad. He went to the eyeglass store. He waited.
Yeah.
He says today, you can fix this. Like he was very suspicious. And the guy said, yes, Mr. Division, I can. And he said, okay, I'll wait right here. I says, I thought we were coming back later because I followed him every errand.
Yeah.
Everything. If he went to the store, Mom, Grandpa's it wasn't even I had to ask. Grandpa's taking me. That means even if you don't want me to go, I go. Because the man, he was like age meant he was always right.
Yeah.
You didn't give him a disagreeing opinion. If you disagreed with him, you're supposed to go like this, the way Grandpa says it, he already understands what we're trying to say. So we're not going to correct him. We're going to catch up to Grandpa. What?
Yeah.
What? We're not going to say anything, but Grandpa said green, it's blue. Grandpa's adding yellow. In a minute, the blue will be green.
Right.
You have to watch your grandfather. So right away, he was like a magician. He was like a wizard. Also, the how do you get to America story, that's big now. Everybody's coming in. My grandfather came off a farm where he could fix everything that was broken. So it didn't matter. You had it could be electrical, mechanical, it didn't matter. Like they had the most rudimentary. He was born in 1888. I mean, what could they have had on that farm in 1902? Not a lot. But the three things they had to work.
Yeah.
That was him.
It was such a different time back then too. Like my grandmother, 1888, came over on the boat.
Oh wow, she came in 1888.
Yeah,
wow, that's early.
So she was very early,
right,
and it was very interesting, her story. And it's funny how the family dynamics have changed so much from that particular time. It's like you see family dynamics then, it's like it was really family. Today it's like, oh, I gotta go here, I gotta watch this, I gotta do this. There really is no family dynamic anymore.
This is, we gotta talk about this on my show now. Now that you brought it up, I'll give you credit for this, but this is a big, big topic with me. It's going to make me so unpopular, especially with the young staff that you work around. With me, everybody's young. You know what I mean? Like the whole world is young now to me. But the young generation really has a problem with this, and I understand what their objection's going to be.
Yeah.
But I'm going to persevere. I think the thing we had, and my family, and families like ours. So absolute obligation was our family value. That's a family value. So what does that mean? If you find out your uncle's birthday is coming to your house on Sunday, it's Thursday, Mom, what are we doing this weekend? Oh, it's your uncle's birthday Sunday. That you don't ask. You're not doing anything Sunday. You're stuck in that house with your uncle, and it better not be in the corner moping. If you think you're going to sit over there, say nothing, and watch TV and tolerate us, no go. You're coming to the table, you're going to talk to your uncle, you're going to talk to your cousin, you're going to tell them about your school, you're going to ask about their school, we're going to play games. And then you're like, oh my God. But then what happened? 10 minutes in, you become a kid again. Now you're liking the game.
Yeah.
Now you're playing with your cousin. So our obligations, when again I mentioned your staff, or even you and I are far enough apart in age, obligation today is seen as a big negative. It's forcing me against my will. It doesn't know who I am. It was brought here by Columbus. It's all racist. The whole thing is upside down. You just want to murder and rape everybody. You want to make us... Yeah, it's insane. And you say, no. The truth is, nature, without me, will teach you that if you don't get out of the way of the hurricane, you die. A lion will eat you. The wrong plant, one bite, and you die from the poison. So stop pretending that all of us are not obligated. We're obligated. Now, the other thing that, again, is hard to explain, because they will say, the world you guys made is terrible, so why would we listen to you? And I would always say to them, I understand that because you watch it on TV. They have to tell you the bad stuff. Their job is not to tell you anything's good. Why would you watch? You have to be scared, frightened, full of disease, the flu's going to kill you, or else why would you watch? You're not going to watch. So I developed my values out of like the experiences that I had.
Yeah.
So that's what blows their mind. I love an obligation.
And they, you know what? It's funny because they are missing out
Right.
the family dynamic. Coming like being Italian, you know as well as I do. Every Sunday you had the family dinner, you had the Italian dinner, you had everybody coming in there, Uncle Louie, Uncle Joe, everybody coming together, sharing their stories. The kids had the kid table.
Correct.
Remember that? The kid table.
You know what that's for? That's a very good point also. That demonstrates the older people are the authorities.
Exactly.
They do know better.
Yeah.
I love telling kids. I always have fun with kids because kids never hear the truth. And I go, I'm a lot smarter than you. You know that, right? I have a lot of money. I can do things that you can't even think of. And I can buy everything in the world that you like and then keep it. How would that be? What if I went and got every red yo-yo? You will never... So, you have to reckon with me. We have to make an arrangement. Because I can also do great things. I can make it rain, I can make the sunshine, I can make laughter. But we have to understand, I'm the big dinosaur, you're a little baby dinosaur.
Yeah. Okay. And that's the thing, if they don't, I feel that today's generation misses out.
I'm a benevolent, right? You know why they're missing out? Because my Aunt Addie, right? I got my Aunt Addie, she's 98 years old. I go see Aunt Addie now. She's the same way as when I was a kid. Every time I saw Aunt Addie from the age of 5, Edward, come here, I have something. Edward, I saw Edward, and she always went to the 5 and dime store and got me some dumb thing, but I loved it because during the visit it was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
She got you a toy, you thank her, your mother's like, go give Aunt Addie a big hug and a kiss to Aunt Addie, go thank Uncle Louie, thank you Uncle Louie, I appreciate my yo-yo. This was all a good brainwashing. Yeah. This is the scrub, it's what a brain is. You go to the salon, they do your scalp. You need a brain scrub where they get in there with their fingernail tips and they really scrub out your cranium and they get out of all your stupid thinking. I always feel bad that, when we were teenagers we had a band, we were always writing things. You'll get older and you go, all right, that was all good exercise, but most of what you think about when you're young is stupid. It's not like, we're not making notations on the theory of relativity. We're growing up. Growing up means you throw off the old, you step into the new. We don't catch everything that comes off of us. Everything isn't significant. So I like authoritarians. When people say, something, I got 5 kids and they're all well behaved. None of them have gone to jail. None of my kids got a drug arrest at the airport for trying to sneak a gun onto an airplane. I go, it's a good parent. That's your job. Your job is to instill how you don't go to jail, how you don't get killed, how you don't get cancer, how you don't kill anybody else, how you don't give anybody else cancer. Isn't that enough? Isn't that enough to keep you busy?
Yeah, and parenting is hard. I mean, it really is. It truly is. On that note, so thank you for bringing all of that up. So, I love it.
Ed Tyll will be back for 9 more hours the podcast with Ed Tyll will run into 2022.
It really will. But, podcasting. Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you see the future of podcasting going?
Love it. It's, you know what? It's so awesome. We've always had it. We just used to call it recordings.
There you go.
Isn't that okay?
Yes.
I get it. You know, how many characters to write the word recording? How many characters MP3? Fine. Mm-hmm. Podcast is awesome. Why? You're capturing, just like a photograph, you're snatching right out of the reel and you hand it over and you listen. Here's what I love. Always, before they called it anything, I would record my favorite shows and listen to them on my own. I didn't need a website. I didn't need anybody to tell me to do this. I had the record button. Here comes Bob Grant, my favorite guy. You had to hit 2 buttons years ago. You had to play and record together. You had to take 2 thumbs. And today, like this, but back in the day, it was, you had to put the 2 thumbs in like that. And play and record. And the magic sound was when your tape would run out. Click! Yeah, quick, flip it, put it back in, film it again, back again, and that was me. I have a talk radio, I have rock and roll from 1972, they used to have something called the King Biscuit Flower
I remember
Hour.
that. Yes, I remember that.
So that was me. I was Mr. Record
I was
Everything.
just a baby then, though.
Oh yeah, neonatal. I think I was a neonatal.
I was neonatal.
Neonatal, yeah. That's how I vote. Every election I vote neonatal. The neonatal party is the way to go. They eat nothing, these kids. They fit everywhere. You want to have a rally, you put them in the corner of the room, there's 900 neonatals.
900 of them. Oh
900 of them.
So Ed, and I know you've mentioned it, Ed is going to be everywhere, okay? So tell
Opening up on Mars, our new thing is Mars.
Listen, Ed Tyll.
All we have to do is get air. We can't get the air. Once we can get the air up, because they go, you can bring the CO2, Ed. If anybody was a human carbon footprint, it's Ed Tyll.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But great, thank you so much for being
A pleasure
here.
to be with you.
I want to know.
Go to edtyll.com and then starting tomorrow, 6:60 a.m. and 105.5 FM Orlando. Keep your eye on San Bernardino. We have a station out there starting either late December, early January, California. Then New England and the Midwest will open up in early 2020. We're going to roll out all through the election cycle, because I like to travel and go back to all my old Ed Tyll affiliates. Ed Tyll people in Seattle, Ed Tyll people in Portland, Ed Tyll people Los Angeles, San Diego. I miss them.
Yes.
Chicago, freezing out in Naperville. I know how cold it is.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing, rolling out with a great bunch of guys right now at Florida Man Radio.
Florida Man Radio. We'll have to get Shannon on here.
Shannon Burke, one of the great talk show hosts in America. I mean, Shannon Burke is up there, like, when you talk about the guitar players. I talk radio guys, to me, are like guitar players. He's like a Jimmy Page.
Oh, yeah.
He's like an Eric Clapton,
Phenomenal guy.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, listen, thank you again. Tune in. You're going to see us on all social media platforms. Follow this talented, I'm going to say, young man. Who is going to be all over Ed Tyll.
My shirt there?
And yes, he's on my chest. So thanks again.
It's a great place to be. 98.6 there, by the way, on the chest. In case you guys at home are taking temperature. I don't know Celsius on that, honestly. I just did it in Fahrenheit. Kelvin.
Right.
Where's Kelvin? Come on, Kelvin. Put up your hand.
This segment is sponsored by Global Resources Organization, where innovation meets possibility. For more information, please visit www.globalresourcesorganization.com.